All right, Huskies. This is Mr. Coward again. I hope everything's going good. Today, we're going to be looking at similar figures. So, similar figures, this shouldn't be anything really new. You know this concept. So, we're just going to kind of brush up on what we're looking at so you know what you're doing. So, similar figures, we set up a proportion for each one of these. So, we have to make sure we know how to set up that proportion. And we've talked about this before. So solving a proportion here is our first ones. Remember, we're going to do our bat and ball or our cross multiply and divide, whichever one you want to do, whatever you want to call it. So for proportions, we set those up and then we multiply the two that are across from each other. So 3 times 24 and then divide by 8. So we would do that on all of them. Remember, it's just the two that have the numbers across from each other we multiply and then divide by the third number that's left over. So do that. Then find the indicated length of each pair of similar figures. So this is kind of what we have to make sure we understand how to do. So I have this one rectangle here, and it has a side length of 7.5 and 4. The other one is x and 3.2. So we're going to set this up just like we would a proportion. So we have our proportion set up, and we're going to do, let's say, the long side over the short side. Going to pick which one to start with. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to put long side, so 7.5 over 4, because that's my long over short, and then x over 3.2. So that's all that's doing, is setting up a proportion, labeling it out. Then you do your cross multiply and divide. So if we have a figure that looks something like this, go ahead and try and set that up and see how you can do. So we're going to have to find each one of these missing ones. So x, y, and z. All right, so I have this line here. This is my straight line, and it's the straight one on both sides, so it's 10 and 4. So I'm going to do my straight line over whichever one I'm looking for. So let's say we're doing this 8. So that might be the top line because it's the top on both of them. It's not always going to be the same, but this one, everything matches up. So I would have 10 over 8. And then on the other one, the straight line going up and down would be 4. And that's going to be over the top line would be y. And then I just do my cross multiply and divide. So all you're doing is just working that out, cross multiply and divide, and see how that comes out. So like here we would have 4 times 8 is 32. Divide that by 10, 3.2. So this would be 3.2. And then to set up the next one, so you would have z. So you would do 10 over 4 and then figure out which one would go over, not 10 over 4, 10 over 15, and then 4 over z. And then 10 over x, 4 over 5. So just work your way around it. That's all you're looking at doing. On number 6, this has one figure here, and it wants to know which one of these would match. So you just set up your proportions. So you have your long line. We'll learn later. This is called our hypotenuse, our longest one. Then you have the short, and you have the middle. So pick 2. So let's say we wanted to do our long over middle. So you're going to do that. The long one would be 50 over 30. And then check another one. Pick the middle one here. So long would be 15 over x, and see if it comes out to 9. And then just work your way through. So that's just kind of a quick overview of similar figures. If you have any questions, let us know, and keep up the great work.